Our production of Blak is touching on men and women Indigenous issues, but also not just so much in its social sense, it's also inspired by the traditional customs and principles of Aboriginal culture.
Stephen and I are both working side by side in creating it. I'm creating a short first arc of the story called Scar with the men of the company. Stephen's creating a second arc with the ladies called Yearning, and then together we've been collaborating quite recently in Keepers, which is the final sort of exploration and the final celebration of who we are within this company.
For me, it was really letting the women in the company expose their personal stories. It's about directing and curating those personal stories and then shaping that into a form of choreography.
We've looked at ourselves and our personal lives and our personal connections to land and to our culture and how we connect with that culture whilst living here in Sydney, especially Scar with the men being male initiation and being this passage from boyhood to manhood. I felt like I'm going through that at the moment too, so I wanted to go through this journey every night with the men and experience what they're experiencing.
There's always the two worlds. There's always the inspired by the old, but it's presented in this contemporary expression. So it is abstract. It is about today's popular music as well, and we're experimenting in electronic music, and so it's been great for David Page composing with Paul Mack, and I think that just brings it just gives it a different contemporary sort of feel.
Paul asked me if I had any samples, especially I work with a lot of vocals, and with Blak being very strongly influenced by the traditional language and essence of Yirrkala, and which has been a strong and a very long association that Bangarra has with the community of Northern Territory.
I really enjoy techno and dance rhythms and things like that, but applying that to this, you have to think differently, which was the kind of joy of it. There's kind of a spirit that I've really felt that I could tap into. When Scar was being workshopped and rehearsed, even just watching the way the dancers interact with each other, and there's a real kind of brotherhood and different personalities and people dance differently, and I was just watching all of that, which is all new to me, and the kind of just the generosity with which people treated each other, I kind of felt really a part of it instantly, and that just sort of fed the creativity and the sounds that David was giving me. It was just like, right, I can't wait to take this and try and do something really amazing with it.
Paul brings this incredible sort of eclectic sound of urban contemporary dance music, I suppose, what Paul creates most. And for me, it works really well with Scar and this idea of young boys and their ego and their energy and their sort of roughness really works for Scar. And in terms of creating the movement for that, for me, was the most fun bit, finding a physicality that matches this grimy, electronic, dirty sort of dance-orientated beat. But below that, the seeds of that is using our traditional music and using voices of Jakapura Manyaran and Anikatha Marika, and how David and Paul have mixed that together is quite interesting.
I think this is going to be a very special show to take to the next level. I think it'll open it up to a younger crowd because it is quite electronic, but it still has that essence of Bangarra where the older crowd will still embrace it.
The thing with Bangarra is each work is the next level of the previous work. We are always drawing on the old, the past, and somehow injecting it with a contemporary fusion of what's in the climate today. And that's what's been so great about working with Dan. He's that younger generation. He brings a different aesthetic to it, an urban twist on it. And there's nothing more that I love in my job is just to nurture the next generation of storytellers.